All right, let me go ahead and change some music here. Let's see. All right. All right, so I'll do a quick summary, and we'll just sort of jump in from there. So last week, you guys continued your adventures within the Fire Walker Village, located inside the volcano, at the urging of the Titan Halcya, who was basically holding your ally Kyra captive or hostage. You, using your recently forged alliance with the surviving queen of the Firewalkers, made your way into the heart of the Fire Temple, wherein you saw the great stone serpent head with its gemstone eye and missing gemstone eye socket, the salamanders who had been called by Halcya to serve and sort of work towards freeing her. And in that moment, Halcya took advantage of the closeness of Kyra and the connection that the two of them seemed to share, hijacked her body, and made a run for it. Using a combination of magic from his allies and items and abilities, Philippocles gave chase, caught up with the being, and managed to calm her down, talk her down, and have her return Kyra's body, which was being destroyed by the raw essence of the imprisoned Titan. With Halcya returned, Kyra seems to be recovering, but mostly worn out from the process. At that point, Queen of the Firewalkers began to, one by one, try to win the favor of individual party members and get them to move against the Salamanders. The Firewalkers' religion, which has been bolstered by Sidon's own words and actions, believes that the volcano must receive constant sacrifices to keep the Heart of Flame happy and inside the volcano. If she ever leaves the volcano, they believe the volcano will erupt and kill all the lizard folk and wipe out the island. The salamanders were latecomers to the scene and want to free Halcya. There was a minor religious power struggle going on between the salamanders, who were powerful allies of the Firewalkers, and the Firewalkers themselves. Seeing that your interest lay with freeing the Heart of Flame, the Lizard Queen became more and more nervous about where things were going, and before she could solicit a third party member, a brash and decisive action was taken. Cyrus attempted to kick her into the volcano. But this is neither a video game cutscene nor a Hollywood blockbuster movie. This is a game that RNGesus gets to watch over. And it didn't happen the way anybody thought it was going to happen. At that point, things kind of fell apart. People were conflicted about what to do next. Plans that were well laid fell to ruin. Some allies followed through. Some allies shut down. When things couldn't get any crazier than they were, the queen took this attack against her as a sign that all of the nice things you had said and all of the trash you had talked about Sidon was obviously a lie and a ruse. Everything fell apart. Diplomacy was in the trash can. It was a mess. At that point, the lizard folk of the Rajonculus tribe, who had been keeping tabs on the situation, saw their opportunity and attacked, and the lizard folk's civil war broke out. During the chaos of the civil war, Philippocles, his father, who may or may not be in trouble with the Furies, and Reset destroyed the Firewalker's shrine to Sidon by pushing it into the fucking volcano. While that was going on, Cyrus and Astraeus hit up the hatchery with the hostage queen and I don't want to say stole, but liberated the baby dragon and the unhatched dragon egg that were being stored there. Everybody left during the confusion, made their way down the mountain, and when they were a safe distance from the fighting, tempers flared, erupted. And we ended the session with Pythor, the god of battle, giving a stern and angry reprimand to what he believed was cowardice and a lack of cohesion. It was rough. We talked it out after the session. We've talked it out during the week, and we're all ready to continue where we left off. Amongst the 7 of us, one player shines as the most level-headed and obviously best player of 5th edition Dungeons and Dragons, and that is, of course, Hypatia, who, no doubt, when she started to receive messages about the game, basically became that one community gif with the flaming pizza. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah. But hey, everybody's here now, and we're going to jump into it right where we left off. Here at the ancient stone bridge carved in honor of the dragon who died fighting the Kraken. Let's get to it. All right. So, time picks back up. And, yeah. Time picks back up. The NPCs all sort of look around at what has happened. Pythor and Kyra have already crossed the bridge. Graxus and the dwarves are, I'm going to say, keeping an eye on the lazy queen while you guys are kind of hashing it out over here. So, obviously, the NPCs all have opinions about what's going on. They are not the main characters of the story, though. If you want to know their opinions, you can always ask them for it. If they get, I don't want to say triggered, but if they feel like they need to say their piece, some of them will probably pipe in. But all sort of watch with bated breath of what is to come next.
Sorry, I was thinking a lot. Recently, I was kind of lost in thought, and I wasn't really paying attention to what was going on. So the queen points over at her. Wanted us to kill the salamanders. Yes.
Yes.
Are we sure that we shouldn't have?
The salamanders are guarding the Heart of Flame as followers of it.
Well, yes, but the Heart of Flame did pretty much almost kill Kyra, so... I mean, we're not super happy with her. And also, like, don't get me wrong, I think we should still try and free her. Because Phil made that promise, and, you know, she's in a bad place. I get why she did that, but... I mean, the salamanders are not necessarily the good guys here either, is all I'm saying. And then also, Cyrus. That was an interesting decision that you made. I can't really figure out a good reason as to why we needed to try to kick the queen into the lava. Can you explain that?
It was a decision that I thought was a due course that could solve many of our issues all at once had it succeeded. One swift action could have eliminated a lot of our problems.
But
I don't believe there was any problem.
But there were also witnesses. Like, I'm not opposed to assassination in principle, but there were witnesses.
But we're talking about lizardfolk culture. Had it been any other culture, I wouldn't have dared do anything like that, nor would I even thought about it. But lizardfolk respect authoritative actions like that.
Furthermore, we had an allied tribe we knew poised to attack. Removing this, and I'm going to gesture at the queen, removing her from her place of power as a figurehead right before an attack could have had a decisive impact on morale. And she was duplicitous.
I mean, again, I don't disagree, but A, we knew she was duplicitous. Come on. And, B, I mean, I guess I'm a little confused as to why we needed to take action in that particular second. You know, it could have been, like, we could have had another, say, 60 seconds and then taken that action.
Well, she happened to be right next to the volcano edge. Had she not been right there, I probably wouldn't have done it.
So you were seizing an opportunity.
Yes. It's not something I would normally try to do. Had it worked.
I've seen you use abilities. You can speak without speaking. Why did you not consult with any of us?
Because who knows if she would have stood there long enough for me to carry on a conversation.
Well, I mean, we didn't exactly have any difficulty subduing her. I mean,
The sheer fact that she was asking us to kill the salamanders showed her growing boldness and her authority.
Well, but again, why should we not have listened to her?
The salamanders are not our enemies. Furthermore, Phil did make an agreement with Halcyon, and if we had taken action against the salamanders, who knows what cost that would bring to Kyra.
At the time, were not our enemies either. I mean,
it's a tribe that worships Sidon. We made an agreement with the Regionculus tribe to pave the way for them to take over this tribe. This tribe was our enemies. We were deceiving her as much as she was deceiving us. Or had you all forgotten that we arranged for a coordinated strike?
Our agreement was to remove their head, Jankor.
Which we did.
And she helped us by getting us into the salamander territory. The queen was a hostage.
Do you forget her own words? Surely they were in anger after Cyrus's attack, yet nonetheless, she did say that it was her intention all along that the salamanders would wipe us out. She brought us down there not to aid us, and was likely disappointed when things worked out in as positive a way that they did.
But who cares? We knew that. I knew that. I look around.
I saw it as her words were merely words, Astreus.
Yeah, I did not feel that she was a threat in the slightest.
Yeah.
Had she taken action, I would understand. But a threat is nothing more than just a threat. And if we were to kill anyone who threatened us, what would that say about us?
Well, we would never stop killing.
I understand that your intentions, and Cyrus, your intentions, were good. However, I don't think we can continue doing this, eliminating anyone who just threatens us, who sides with Sidon.
The fact that you all didn't see her as a serious threat shows poor foresight on your part. She was very honest in the fact that she wanted us, expected us, to do whatever she wanted.
Well, I don't understand how she was a threat. Two of you took her out by yourself. The threat that she posed was laughable.
She commands the entire lizard army, this entire tribe right now.
And we command the entire lizard army that's fighting them.
And we have the tentative alliance with the salamanders.
Cyrus.
There was no threat here. I mean, the fact that she intended us harm, I grant you, but
had Cyrus succeeded,
have done us any harm?
Could have ordered the tribe to stand down and surrender, and the battle going on above, where our own allies are shedding their blood on our behalf to try to unite this island and wrest it from the control of Sidon, could have been avoided. But unfortunately, it did not work out that way.
Had Cyrus not taken the action, the same could be true.
Doubtful.
I say that your claim is doubtful.
It was not my plan.
There's a low grumble from Graxus as he sort of listens to you guys speak. And he says, I was told to come on this mission because I had been here before and knew these people. No counsel was asked of me in how best to entreat them or engage them. These are a people, primitive, savage. They respect strength and quickness of body and mind. What your friend, or perhaps friend is the wrong word, what this stranger attempted to do could have turned the tides very quickly in your favor and the favor of your allies. But like all great actions, it carried a great risk. His failure was seen by all as a weakness and as a treachery, rather than the decisive action it was meant to be. I have fought many battles, and I have seen much blood. I have been cursed by the gods for my actions, and am cursed still. But what happened back there, that brash plan, that big risk chasing that large reward, that is neither here nor there, for the action was taken, and the results played out. What I see as a warrior, as a tactician, as a beast who was once a man who led others into battle, was you had an ally who dropped his spear. Not in a literal way, but in the same sense. That man took a risk in the moment, and he failed. And that is when you need your allies the most. That is when your spear comes into play. Or, and he looks over at Reset and Anastasia, your hand to stay the spear. How many sleepless nights I look back and wish I had stayed the hand of Esther. His failure is all of our failures. Because when one of our number falls, or fails, or stumbles, we must be there to take their place, or lift them up, or right their wrong. To continue to bicker over something so small as the consequences of the action play out, you indulge yourselves as blood is spilled, rather than rush to stop it. You, he points to Reset and Anastasia, you both sit high upon your morals, but neither of you rushes to save the lives of those who die, even as we speak. You claim to be better. You promised me you would be better. Yet here you are, playing out the same selfish, prideful squabbles that tore the Order apart to begin with. I am sorry if I have overspoke, Rade.
Estrella just shakes his head like he did nothing wrong.
Your point of view is valid. I definitely see the value. Perhaps, in fact, the exact matter that distracted me from our previous battle was, well, Astraeus and Reset have been talking of forming this new order of Dragonlords. Perhaps we should do so now. My brother is in the Order of Sidon. I don't really hang out with him much, but I did once see their little employee handbook. I don't know. Their rules, if you will. We could perhaps come up with some rules, some principles for our new Dragonlords that we all agree to follow. Then we don't have to worry so much about these impulsive actions that some of us may not agree with, because we will have all agreed up front.
Oh, see, I can't help but feel like this is totally like a Star Trek thing, where they have like the protocol for like, indigenous peoples and all the other kind of stuff that they constantly go back to. But,
yes, the Prime Directive. Yes,
yeah, there you go. Prime
Directive.
Thank you.
Or a party charter, if you will.
Look, I get that you all are not happy with my actions, but they weren't something done without any thought. I'm not an idiot. It wasn't without intention or purpose. And those intentions or purpose was not malicious in nature. It was literally to solve the issue. And that I could do something that I knew Astraeus could not do without losing face. He sought peace, but unfortunately, peace isn't always an option.
And a war where one side refuses to bare their blades will be a short war indeed.
But if I am to be punished, let me be punished and let us move on. There's too much going on right now.
Kyra kind of starts to push away from Pythor to come towards you guys. Stumbles a bit. He catches her, and she kind of closes her eyes. And as she looks over at you guys, you can see that her face is just a storm of emotions. A lot of them seem to be regret.
I will keep this quick. For now, I wish to apologize for my inaction earlier. Graxus's words have hit me. And so long as you are a part of our group, I trust that your intentions are good. However, Cyrus, we do not have the time now, but there are many questions I wish to ask of you. Perhaps when we get to a safer place, I would like to speak with you. Because I want to trust you. But it's hard for me right now.
Graxus is right. The longer we wait, the allies we came here to join our battle are killing themselves on top of this volcano.
As Anastasia speaks, Kyra speaks up and says, Anna, you're right. And everyone, I'm sorry if I was a liability back there. I've only wanted to help, but I feel like my presence on this island is only hindered. If we do plan to save Halcyon, we will have to return to this place. And I would rather return to a place welcoming and allied than a place torn by war and conflict. Our memory, the agitator that brought it all about.
So how do we best solve this issue?
That's when Lazy Queen speaks up.
It's quite simple. Take me back to the village. Declare me ruler of Fire Island, and all will listen to your strength. I will forget your transgressions against me, and we will work together to make sure the Heart of Flame is well cared for.
So I'm taking your head, right?
She hisses at you and shies away. Both the dwarves are kind of manhandling her, keep her from escaping. She tries to bite them, but they're sturdy dwarves trained by Vulcan, so it's just kind of like a gumming situation.
Cyrus
Kremis-
says this mockingly with a smile on his face.
Kremis says, I don't know, but I was real worried that we were going to be leaving here and leaving behind all this rich ore and resources that was promised.
I think we do bring the queen back, but I believe that we leverage us possessing her to cause the firewalkers to stand down.
Really, let's bring Oliver.
Yes, I feel like our only option at this point is to help the Redonkulus tribe take over.
The
Completely.
queen seems agitated by this conversation, assuming it's still a draconic. If you guys switch to common and she can't follow, then, it's whatever.
Yeah, I would have switched to common.
Yeah.
Okay.
Then in that case, the queen just watches you guys, frightened, but eager for opportunity.
At this point, I'm going to turn, and I'm going to put a hand on Phil's shoulder, and I'm just going to say, Philippocles, you've been uncharacteristically silent. Where does your heart lie in all this?
I'm torn. I didn't wish to see the queen dead. Just because someone follows Sidon does not mean I wish them dead. I've made many allies and friends who sadly bear his colors. But I also have made rash actions myself, and I cannot fault Cyrus for doing what he did. I do not wish to see all of the firewalkers brought down, but I do wish peace on this island.
Then we should do what was suggested. Let's bring the queen and see if she can leverage at least a surrender from the tribe.
It is possible that she may be unwilling, in which case we may need to play the part of the hostage takers and issue threats that I feel some of you may not be comfortable with. I'm not saying we need to follow through on these threats, but we may need to threaten her in order to force her people to stand down.
The circumstances have changed. I am okay.
I think at first there's something I must do. And Phil's gonna walk up to Cyrus, and he's gonna pull out the axe of Xander. Cyrus.
The axe thrums with hunger and hatred. Not a malicious hatred, for this is a weapon of pure law and neutrality, but because its purpose, the sole reason it exists, is to kill giants and titans and those of their blood. Cyrus,
Yep.
you feel the weapon's hatred for you. It's cold, calculating desire to end your life.
Cyrus, I must apologize to you because I never gave you a fair chance. As I hold this axe, it begs me for your blood, and Xander, when you gave me this, I accepted it as a tool for what's to come, but this is a weapon of hate and purpose, and I have befriended too many Titanborn to hold it still. It has no place amongst the new Dragonlords of which you all speak of. And Phil's gonna just kind of take off and start flying towards the volcano.
Graxus watches you go, and a low rumble in his throat, he says, hate was always my weapon. My hatred flowed into the blade and birthed something new. Perhaps I should have destroyed it long ago.
Yeah, cinematically, Phil's just gonna fly a couple 100 feet above the volcano and just drop the axe into the center and start heading back.
Yeah. Okay. You guys watch from a distance a glimmering mote of light lit by the moon, and which is half full, and the volcano itself, it spins end over end and disappears on the other side of the summit.
Strace is gonna let out a very exhalation of breath, and Anna's closest to him, so he's just gonna kind of side-eye Anna and say, one of our prophecies was to secure that weapon in order to thwart the doom of Thylea. I respect his decision, but I truly tremble at the potential cost.
Well, I mean, it's secured. No one else could use it. Who knows what these prophecies mean, truly.
We would be wise to consult with Versi upon our return to the ship. Perhaps she can see what lies ahead with this new development.
And perhaps she can tell us how our new friend fits in to this adventure. I'm looking at Cyrus.
That is true, Hypatia. All you know about him is that Versi vouched for him. But Versi is also Titan-blooded. So, I mean, there are people, many people, who do not trust her on that one trait alone. You guys, however, do fly her colors, essentially, by declaring yourselves the chosen of the Oracle. Which, you know, that's a whole thing. Is the intention to then return to the village, or would you like to travel back to your ship?
I think we're going to be heading back up to the Firewalker village to see if we can halt whatever battle remains and stop it before it.
Try to remove any weird shit that's going on the duplicates of you from the past and all that kind of stuff. So
yeah, Hypatia is not a time witch. She can't
not yet. All right. So because the amazing rooftop mod didn't like one of the other 96 mods, it's still not working. So some areas are going to have roof, and some areas aren't going to have roof. But we will struggle through. It's better than a dry erase board. That's what we're going to tell ourselves. All right. Right. So I'll get you guys back over there. All right. Also, in order to save everybody's browsers from imploding, I am not going to have a bunch of lizard folk kicking the shit out of each other all over the map. But you could assume that just about everywhere there are people fighting It's like the war movies where the camera focuses on the MCs, but there's like a bunch of people fighting and dying in the background. It's like one of those situations. All right, let me get you over there. And let's turn this thing up. Back to dinosaur music.
Oh, nope. There's the Astraeus.
Oh, there's an extra Astraeus? Damn it.
And an
there's
extra
a red
Sirens.
side and a
Oh, no, they're everywhere. Oh my god, there's so many of you. Alright, hold on.
Yeah, the hatchery and the temple have Sidon.
Okay. Let's see.
We should have said nothing.
Yeah, we're everywhere at once.
Future Hypatia came back with her time crew.
So, hey, look, the steak's back. That's good. Hooray for updates. Alright. The steak is broken, among other weird things. Okay. So you guys are back in it. Fighting is going on everywhere. Your allies are fighting it out. Dino versus Dino. Dino Rider versus Dino Rider. So this is the hypest 1980s cartoon shit you've ever seen. The Salamanders are allied with the Fire Walkers, despite their obvious religious differences that you guys have discovered. It is looking rough for both sides, though the Salamanders seem to have the least losses compared to everybody else. That could be because when outsiders die, their bodies normally turn into whatever material they have built their prime material body out of. Hypatia can explain it at length in a TED Talk, but from what you can tell, the Firewalkers will win against the Rejonculus tribe if someone doesn't step in. If you were to math out the fights, it is definitely going in the favors of the home team.
Astraeus is going to look at the Chosen and say, who wants to issue the decree to order them to stop? And he's looking...
I think we need to speak with the Salamanders privately
or
to explain that we need them to surrender.
Well, we don't need the Salamanders to surrender. We just need them to not kill the Rejonculus tribe.
Well, yes, but we...
It's the Firewalkers we want to have surrender.
Yes, no, I understand. I'm not expressing myself well. I apologize.
Pythor says, "Are you worried that the Salamanders might be the ones really pulling the strings with the Firewalkers?"
Well, maybe, but also I'm worried that the Firewalkers will never surrender because they're winning because of the Salamander.
Oh. Why don't we split up and half of us go back into the Fire Temple and talk to the Salamanders and half of us try to simmer things down up here?
That doesn't sound like a fantastic idea. I was just thinking of speaking to the current leaders of the battle. I would like to look out and see if I can spot, generals, if you will.
Okay. Yeah, these mostly lady-looking salamanders. You do not see the noble salamander on the battlefield. More than likely, she is cloistered away in the Fire Temple in case it is breached. As a, last means of defense. People in the D&D universe, they really believe that your strongest people should either A, be the first person on the battlefield for a dramatic cutscene where they fight the strongest person on the other side, and the war is ended in basically 1 minute or less with an incredible, hero versus hero situation, or you tuck your strongest people away, and then you send your weakest people up front. That's the only two real schools of thought in D&D land for strategy, it seems like. But these lady salamanders definitely seem to be the boss of the kid salamanders and the dude salamanders in the weird Pokemon evolution species that they are.
I can...
Also, these guys are on the loose, and they're just rampaging. on whoever they could get a hold of, these firehounds.
Yes, if Cyrus could speak to the salamanders and ask them to stand back, because currently they are hurting their own cause. Also, I could message Cantrip if you need me to, but it's not the most efficient way.
Well, you recall with your keen mind that many of these salamanders do speak Draconic. They have picked it up in their time here in the volcano.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah. So yeah, anyone else have ideas?
I can if I can get within 60 feet of the leaders, I can communicate with them.
Okay.
I was gonna thaumaturgy whoever wants to speak aloud to the Firewalker tribe.
That's hype too.
yeah, but I think we need the salamanders to step back first, and then we can do general
agree.
announcements.
Yeah, salamanders first, but then.
What are our plans with these salamanders? They're gonna want to keep sacrificing lizard folk.
The salamanders were never the ones who wanted to sacrifice.
No, I'm pretty sure they were sacrificing lizard folk to try and save their.
But we're saving their heart of flame, so that'll solve that.
The salamanders believed that the sacrifices were giving Halcyon some strength. That part, there is an overlap there. They didn't stop the sacrifices because they did feel that, basically Halcyon was able to gain some sustenance from them. But at the same time, the sacrifices were also fueling the prison that keeps her captive. Because, you feed a prisoner, right? To keep him alive. So, yeah.
I would try to speak to Halcyon herself so she can shake things up a bit. That might scare the lizard folk into stop fighting immediately, and then we can make our declarations then.
In Draconic, Lazy Queen says,
where should I stand to announce my rulership?
All 42 of my snakes just glare at her.
The fighting could end right here and right now. Please, just tell me what I need to do.
I'm gonna mage hand cover her mouth.
Okay.
Should we have her tell her people to surrender?
She is possessed of tremendous, as she demonstrated last week, she's possessed of a tremendous 18 strength score. She talks through your mage hand.
Phil, would you like some rope? Could you tie this around her mouth?
Yeah, I could do that.
I think this is the moment she's going to realize that things aren't going according to her plan.
Yeah, she is crestfallen, realizing that your superior numbers and strength, she has no chance. She is still looking shifty-eyed for, at this point, probably an escape route, but her hopes and dreams are dying in her beautiful anime eyes.
Yeah, I'm tying her up with rope.
Okay.
Just a ridiculous amount of rope. She probably can't even see.
All right.
Out of her eyes.
She's a rope mummy. Got it.
I would like to try something if possible. Nothing brash. Promise.
And what? I'm making a list of the order we're doing things. What were you going to try?
I was going to try to reach out, kind of open my mind and reach out, similar to how somebody would beseech the gods to try to speak to the Heart of Flame.
Yes. So here,
Kyra stumbles towards you,
I was gonna say.
she points at her brain. Well, she points at her skull, but it's assumed that there's a brain in there. And
I wasn't sure if the connection was still there.
It is. I can help.
Okay, so step 1, we ask the salamanders to stand back. Step 2, we ask Halcyon to make a big scary noise. Step 3, we show we have the queen captive and that we are making her kneel to us, and the firewalkers surrender. Yes?
Sounds
Stratus nods, yep.
You might hit
What's the
two
backup
birds with
plan?
one stone if the Heart of Flame can speak to the Salamander's leader.
Can't she?
She's been the one giving her orders all this time.
And
Well, yeah.
you missed a lot considering it was a short session. There was a lot that happened last week.
Well, no, I know, but the salamander leader's not here. Is what I'm saying.
Right. Yeah.
So like we need to talk to the lead salamander here. Can Halcyon talk to her? I mean, because if she can, cool.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what the span of her power is.
Shot.
So should I try using the conduit through Kaya to try to talk to her first?
Sure.
If she asks where I am, tell her I'm looking for her thing.
I will hold my hand out to Kyra.
Okay. She pressed her forehead against your outstretched hand. Your tattoo marking, whatever it happens to be, kind of opens wider and glows brighter. And Kyra, her skin becomes hot to the touch, and you hear Halcyon in your mind. She says, I sense a great turmoil, but no time has passed. What have you done?
The lizard tribes are at war with each other. We're trying to stop the conflict. If you could get the salamanders and their kin and the dogs they're controlling to withdraw to the caves, we can try to get the lizards to stop fighting.
I can do that easily. They were called across worlds to serve me. Do you need anything else? A display of power or...
A rumbling of the volcano, once they have retreated, would be greatly appreciated to draw the attention of everyone.
It will be done.
Thank you.
All right. And she kind of lets out a ragged breath, Kyra does, and pulls back from your hand. She seems a bit more invigorated than she has for most of the journey. Her eyes seem sharper, her breathing less ragged, her stance straighter.
Are you sharing Halcyon's divinity?
She gives you a sly look and says, well, I mean, she stole my body, so I figured next time she tried to hop in, maybe I would steal something from her. You know what I'm saying? It's not like she needs it right now.
Cyrus let out a grin.
All right. You watch over the next, couple of minutes. Would anybody still be alive? 5e combat system? Oh, jeez. As the salamanders begin to either retreat into the lava, the rock, or the caverns themselves, the firewalkers look panicked as their allies retreat from the battle. As you watch the last of the salamanders kind of withdraw from the battle, you see the Rejoculus tribe let out croaking hisses of enthusiasm as the murder and bloodshed reaches an even greater crescendo. It is at that moment that the volcano shakes violently, and every superstitious lizard folk stops and stares. Some have spears sticking out of their bodies. Some are mid-stab into another's body. It doesn't matter. All of them stare and look at the volcano, their eyes wide with terror, waiting for the end that has been staved off for so long.
Who am I thaumaturging right now?
Would you like the honors, Astraeus?
He's just gonna shake his head. Nope.
Then I believe Phil has the most intimidating voice.
Okay, I'm gonna cast thaumaturgy on Phil, so Phil can now order them while they're afeared to stand the heck down.
Stop fighting at once! The salamanders have been removed, and so has your queen. The volcano now wills as we will, but we have silenced it for now. Anything else I should say?
Maybe tell the firewalkers.
Folly? I don't know.
Yeah. Add that.
Wait, do what?
Tell them if they keep fighting, it's just gonna blow up.
Oh man, this is like the
I
SpongeBob
fly to the
movie.
middle of the volcano. If you keep fighting, everything will blow!
Oh
And I raise my hands
dang!
into the air.
All right, and that perfectly
That's really
timed
cool.
hey wait goes off. Fantastic. All right, give me an intimidation. It will be made with advantage because of the situation.
Alrighty.
I just want to point out when he was whispering to us, what do I say next? I mean, we're
It was
far enough
totally
away from the
coming
battle.
in over the PA, like in the SpongeBob movie, one of the greatest movies of all time. And he thought he was the new manager of the Krusty Krab 2, and he's like, "And I'm only making it worse by repeating everything you say into the microphone." Phone. That's what I was picturing. Your words, even the part where you were whispering in common, hit them hard. Bones, spears, sickles, and hammers clatter to the ground. They look over at Phil flying about, and they look up on the hill to see the queen bound in ropes, surrounded by two dour and strong-looking creatures that they may or may not have ever seen in their life before. And of course, this guy right here. They look at each other, Lizard Man to Anime Lizard Man. And they just sort of like let out tired sighs and sort of collapse, taking a knee, falling prone, or simply taking a dodge action and trying to maintain their defense in case the situation changes. They do not, however, engage in any more fighting. Their eyes drifting back to the volcano, at the burning lava that eats away at the caldera. Their ear holes listening for any sign of tremor or activity.
Where is the Redonkulus leader?
Oh, it's funny you would ask such an interesting question. Hold on a second. Let's see. Okay. You see at the entrance, riding upon her trihorn behemoth, which is of course just a triceratops, but we call it a trihorn behemoth because it's dope as hell. You see riding on the back of her trihorn behemoth is Vitha, the queen of the Redonkulus tribe, lover of Pythor, king of battle. Yeah, I put his business out there in case you didn't figure it out. You see inside the rope mummy, which has stats in Pathfinder. Of course it does. You see the rope. You see the rope mummy look over, and her anime eyes narrow in hatred when she sees this outsider from the lesser tribe.
Can I get some of that thaumaturgy action?
I will give it to her, and right before I do, I will just kind of whisper that I have distinctly noticed that the queen here has a hatred of all that she considers to be the lesser tribes.
Yeah.
And then I cast thaumaturgy, and I give her Kyra's voice. That's what I call thaumaturgies.
Still screaming in the middle of the volcano, but it just kind of like turns off.
You will all put down your weapons.
You like start tapping like your right ear, like somebody would tap a microphone, try to figure out what's going on. Kyra does look to Graxus and Astraeus, and then to Hypatia, and she says, one of the things that the Dragonlords did that people didn't really appreciate was the whole colonizing thing, you know? Like, you guys showed up and you saved people, but then you saved people by making them do the things that you did and live the life that you live. I mean, that's why there's been this non-stop hatred between the natives and the settlers, because neither side wanted to give. I mean, I'm not trying to call back super duper early episodes, but I mean, Parthala wanted to be a wizard. She had to give up her entire life among the centaurs to do so, and then she had to deal with all sorts of racism and social obstacles to be the first centaur to graduate from the Arcane Academy. I mean,
I'm gonna kind of pat Kyra on the head and be like, I know that's not what I was planning, but thank you.
Oh, okay. You take it away. I would pat your head, but I don't want it to get bit. So,
I'm gonna reach back into my formal Noble of Mitros training, and in ceremonial voice and words, I'm going to say, Queen Vitha, we have subdued these Oathbreakers, heretics, that's the word I want, heretics. We have subdued these heretics, and brought them back, and it is now your task to bring them back to the heart of the flame. We have been able to speak with her and secure her support, and now you must lead these people, these united tribes, into, or back to the way. But in a much more eloquent version.
It sounds like a very clever way to substitute your intelligence modifier for your persuasion skill.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, please do so, with advantage. You can toggle it on your character sheet, assuming that mod didn't break in the update.
Oh, let's find out. Okay, let's see. Tribute. Oh, I can. I see that. Okay.
Foundry got all the best stuff. All the best stuff at Foundry.
Oh,
posted by the FoundryVTT. Anyways.
There we go.
Okay. You deliver a very medicinal, very textbook speech. The lizard folk, being very practical people, appreciate you not using a lot of flowery bullshit and just kind of giving them the straight information. Hearing that you who have the queen held captive, you who are with this hairy ape who commands the volcano, hearing that you are in fact allied with the Heart of Flame, all lizard folk, anime and regular lizard folk alike, turn to Vitha and bow their heads, closing their eyes, a sign of pure submission, because anything could happen with your eyes closed and your head down. Vitha stands tall in the howdah on the back of her trihorn behemoth. She does not have thaumaturgy, so you can't hear what she's saying, but you're pretty sure it's dope. But she is trying to talk to you from across the entire volcano. Whatever she says, the people nearby, they're shook by her words.
Do I hear it? I'm a little closer.
Yeah. Give me a perception check, Phil. Oh, yeah, you hear the whole speech. She basically says,
as these soft skins have told you, the spawn of my magical ape lover commands this volcano and the friendship of the Heart of Flame. The time of the Firewalkers ends, as does the time of the Redunculus. The world is changing. The world is dangerous. We can ill afford to continue to squabble amongst ourselves. We are being pulled into a greater conflict beyond the borders of this island. Should we choose to ignore these changes, they will not go away. We will be dragged, kicking and screaming, into a war that unfolds in the wider world. We must unite. We must unite and prepare for what is to come. These outsiders have come and delivered you from the false god, the Stormlord. He is our enemy. You must understand this. He has deceived you as he has deceived those who laid the eggs you hatched from. We have been shown the truth of his ways and will share those truths with you. Please, stand united, and we will move forward.
So that's what she says.
Yeah, Phil's just nodding, flying in the middle of the volcano.
Okay. Yeah, the lizard folk that heard her stand. The others see the others stand. They're just like, oh, I guess it's time to stand up. You know how it is at church. You know what I'm talking about. Yeah. So everybody starts to stand up again, and mostly they seem to be okay. Hypatia, it's comforting to see a culture, a species that has such firm control of their emotions that they could just be like, oh, that makes sense, and then just start doing the thing that makes sense.
It's refreshing, honestly.
Yeah.
So which one of these buildings had the Cyclops Smith in it? Because we need to find him real quick before they kill him.
I believe it was down here at the far south, maybe? That's one of the only areas you haven't gone into, for sure.
Okay. You may need to head that way.
Oh, I'll unpause it. Okay. I don't know how it got paused. Oh, right, because Phil hit that trigger. Got it. All right. So is the intention then to stick around, hand the queen into the custody of the lizard folk? Like what is the plan moving forward, guys?
We'll have Phil fly her over, and then maybe he'll butterfinger her into the volcano on his way. No. I'm just totally kidding.
We're off to the races again. Thanks, Canada. Canadians are a warlike people. It is a violent land. I've heard. I don't know. I've never been there.
I mean,
I was never there, and I was only hours away. I was only hours away when I lived in Seattle. I could have gone, and I just didn't.
Oh yeah, you should have.
Yeah.
You should have.
I know. Next time.
I've been paused apparently.
Oh yeah. So that's unfortunate. Give me a dexterity saving throw, because according to the adventure, that part of the staircase will spill you into the caldera. Oh, never mind. Where were the double knights? We needed them. Anyways, you start to walk down the stairs. One of the stone steps gives way and tumbles down, breaking through the caldera, taking 20 d10 points of damage. For Reset, I apologize that you've had to deal with double volcanoes for the last couple weeks. So it's been a lot of lava. It's a lot of lava.
It's terrible.
It's a lot of lava to deal with.
Can we get unpaused?
Yeah, sure. If at this point there's no fighting, so if you want, I could just fast travel you guys over to the cave.
I mean, that would save us the constant spills into possible rocky death.
Fine, fair. Okay. All right.
Hey, Phil could bring Philippothries down here to have some fun playing lava.
Oh, that's true. Philippothries would probably have a blast here. All right, let's grab all these guys. Delete all these guys. There we go. All right. So couple things here. One, let's get this throne room exposed. There we go. Despite her big speech about working together or whatever, Vitha is real quick to sit on that sweet throne. Real quick to sit on that sweet throne. Yeah. So you guys go there first, I'm assuming.
I cannot see anything now.
Yep,
Oh.
so black.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oop. There you go.
There we go.
Hey.
All right. Yeah, so she's real quick to get situated on the throne. She got some boys to protect her. And as you enter, her eyes are bright, her mouth heavy with saliva. She says,
This one is pleased beyond words to see you, my soft-skinned champions. Thank you so much for everything you have done.
Well, we may call in the favor one day. Just, if you could remember that.
she looks over and she sees Lazy Queen, and she says,
What has this one done to deserve such treatment?
She lied to us and did so badly.
Deception is not a trait that our species excels at. It is embarrassing that she would attempt such a ruse against creatures as crafty as you soft-skinned outsiders.
She tried to get us to kill the salamanders.
Interesting. One would ask, is that necessarily a bad thing?
Considering
I'm gonna
they
look
are
at everybody. I'm gonna be like, see?
having met Hypatia's parents, you are starting to wonder if maybe she was adopted. This is actually where she was born.
The salamander are allies of the Heart of Flame, and we
They're
seek
her
to,
minions.
and we seek to free the Heart of Flame from her imprisonment, her cruel imprisonment at the hands of her brother.
Yeah, she looks super panicked when you say that. She says,
The volcano will be fine.
Are you sure?
We
The
will.
volcano has always demanded a sacrifice. From the earliest days when the first lizard folk washed up on these shores.
I'm gonna look at Cyrus to explain that to her.
Okay. Hypatia, you know that in many primitive cultures, they explain natural phenomenon, or in this case, supernatural phenomenon, like a volcano linked to the fire plane, as they come up with non-scientific solutions to problems. They sacrifice somebody, and then the volcano doesn't erupt, so they assume that that's why it doesn't erupt. And then they just keep doing it.
And then if it does erupt, they just sacrifice the wrong person, etc.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I can't promise you it won't erupt, but I can promise you that we will be here if it does, so we will also die. And we will do everything in our power to avoid dying.
Your words make great sense, Serpent Woman. If you are confident in this, you have had ample opportunity to betray us. You have helped us when no one else would. You have given hope to my people and freed the Firewalkers from the burden of the Stormlord's lies.
By any chance, would you happen to have heard any stories of a large gemstone, larger than even the largest dino egg, Titan egg, or what do you call them?
Dragon egg?
Dinosaurs? I'm trying to think what they call the dinosaurs
Oh.
here.
Behemoth
Egg.
This island was once rich in gemstones, which we found possessed a great value to outsiders. Most of those gems were mined and traded over the centuries. But there were such large gems imbued with the strength of the volcano itself that they were given a place of great honor. When the Stormlord came, he took those gems and used them to craft a shrine, an altar to the Heart of Flame. Or so it is said.
Where is that altar?
Well,
We've been there.
you've studied it extensively and have incredible
have?
notes about it in your
Okay.
book.
Okay.
But our people only recently saw one of the gems. The shrine, the great serpentine statue that the Stormlord spoke of, it had no gems for eyes. In fact, we were told that those eyes should remain forever empty if we wanted to stay safe. My spies and scouts informed me that one such gem was recovered and placed, perhaps within the Temple of Flame, for that is the last place they saw it taken.
Yes, it is there. We can confirm. We are looking for the other one.
My
There would have been
understanding
one
is that the Firewalkers traded a great many slaves for the stone from softskins who had a ship.
Let's see. May I convey some words that may enlighten to what the situation really is here?
Okay, she shrugs.
The essence of flame is a titan, much like the Stormlord himself. It is his own sister, a rival, if you will,
His
that he has
sister,
imprisoned.
his egg clutch mate, hatched
Yes,
from the same clutch of eggs.
a rival queen, if you will.
Kyra snickers. She says, "This guy just called Sidon a queen."
He sought to imprison her, as Sidon is the Lord of Storms. She is the Lord of Flame. She is the controller of flames. Hence why she is in this mountain.
Has she always been in this mountain?
For as long as your kin have been here, it would have seemed.
That is a very long time.
The reason Sidon does not wish the gems to be in there is because that will free her.
And a Titan is big.
She gestures with her hands to indicate this guy, but even bigger. And she says,
A god is small.
and she points at Python.
They come in many shapes and sizes. Just as the behemoth
If
on
she
the island.
controls flames and is freed, will the volcano become a normal mountain?
It may,
I don't think so.
or it may stay active.
I expect she will likely continue to live here and rule. Well, rule is a bad word, but rule
Protect.
you people.
Protect,
Yes,
like
protect.
the
Yes,
great
protect.
dragon that once stayed here. She's also will be a pivotal ally in our
But
fight
the
against the
salamanders,
Stormlord.
they are not our allies. They were placed here by Sidon to aid the Firewalkers, yes? That is
No.
why you banished them with your soft-skin magics.
No. They
No,
merely... Sorry.
They also wanted to free the Heart of Flame. We asked her to call them back.
Wait. Then the Firewalkers were in competition with their own allies for the fate of this island?
Apparently.
They had a mighty champion given to them by Sidon to help set the balance in their favor. You'll find his body in the southeast cavern. We took care of it.
He will make an excellent centerpiece for tonight's feast.
I mean, he's been in there a while, so you may not want to eat him.
My warriors have found another one-eyed giant. He is currently being kept prisoner within his cave. He is a strange-looking creature. Too many fingers.
We would like to see him, if it is possible. We may ask to take him with us, depending on how such a meeting would go.
You have earned a great prize if this Cyclops giant, as your slave, is the prize you seek. Then it will be granted.
We do not wish a slave.
I'm gonna just.
Shreyas' shoulder
okay.
just slumps at the
It's
word
okay.
slave. Like he's just.
Yeah, it's fine. Yes, he would make a great slave. I'm gonna look at Phil and I'm gonna wink.
Okay. Vita looks pleased. She was worried that this reward she was offering was something that you maybe found offensive, but seeing that you guys are into it, she's into it.
Perhaps in exchange for this Cyclops, you can hand over her.
Oh, yes, certainly.
What? No. I promised her exile.
Oh, you did, didn't you?
Yes.
I didn't.
Well, I did.
Well,
you
she
gotta
asked
remember-
to come back. Is that
when
a
I
rule? Is that rules lawyery enough?
Is what?
She asked to come back. We brought her back.
Oh, I get it. I feel like the terms of the arrangement, she was never given a chance to be exiled. But honestly, if you exile her on this island, it's just going to be the most dangerous game until they catch her and kill her, or a dinosaur eats her.
Well, let's just ask her.
Yeah.
Hey, Lazy Queen.
All right. As you remove the 400 feet of rope from her snoot, she dramatically gasps for air.
Would you like to be exiled, or would you like to be given up to the queen here, Vita?
If I am to choose my fate, I ask that I am sacrificed to the Heart of Flame.
Oh. Are you okay with that, Phil?
As long as she's the last.
Vita looks a bit disappointed, because you could tell that she was hoping to eat that lady. And then Vita says,
I am merciful. If this is the death you choose, we will honor it. You will be sacrificed to the Heart of Flame at tonight's celebratory feast. It will usher in a new age of peace and prosperity. For now, there is only one tribe.
I don't know if this works for Cyrus's ability, but Astraeus is going to be thinking real hard at him.
like
And
I have to take a poop face? Is that what you're doing right now?
Almost.
I see it. I actually see it now that I'm looking at your mini. Yeah.
Right? Yeah. And I'm thinking real hard at Cyrus. We better hope they don't ask you to be the one to sacrifice her.
Oh, damn.
Ouch.
Okay.
Yeah. You ever hear of grinning poop face? That's what's going on right now.
All right.
Grinning poop face.
So Lazy Queen lets out a resigned sigh, and she stares out at the hot lava. She is utterly defeated, seeing her own bodyguards protecting this creature from a lesser tribe. It seems to have been the last straw that broke the camel's back. Her resolve, her indignation, it just crumbles. Those of you who have started to gather a bit on lizard culture, you feel that she has weighed all of her options, and choosing her own death ensures that no one will be able to eat her and take her power. And, in a way, allows her to honor her religious beliefs one last time.
Selfish to the end.
So for her, it's the best death that she could probably get in the situation that she's in. So rather than embarrass herself by begging and groveling, she is trying to take ownership of the situation.
I can respect that.
All right. If you hand her over into custody, some lizard folk will lead you to the cave where they have the Cyclops imprisoned.
Let us go.
All right. And they begin cooking up Polyphemus or whatever his name is for tonight's meal. You guys will, of course, get the finest cuts of meat off of the Cyclops. All right. Delete. I'm using the special teleport mod. It's where I delete your minis and then paste them where I want them. It's very complicated.
Sounds like it.
Yeah.
Very advanced.
All right. Oh, I got to go to the right layer. And there we go. All right. So there is actual flavor text for this area. Give me a second to load that flavor text in. Okay. Let's see. Oh, there we go. All right. Stables, Cyclops Cave. All right. Although a modest forge has been built into one side of this cave, it is noticeably cooler in here than in the rest of the fort. The cave's sole resident, a 9-foot-tall Cyclops, sits at a stone table in the center of the room. He wears a monocle over his eye, and he has remarkably nimble, 10-fingered hands. He is tinkering with what appears to be a half-finished mechanical goat. Other clockwork animals fill niches that have been carved into the cavern wall opposite of the forge.
I immediately examine and ooh and ah over them.
Okay.
Are we supposed to see this guy?
Well, obviously, this is a game powered by a bad... Yeah, hold on, I gotta show it to you. There we go. Show players. Show all players. There we go.
Oh,
You see him?
Yep.
nice.
All right. Yeah,
Okay,
he's a little large creature. He could probably pass as a Jeremy Crawford medium if he had to.
We're gonna name him Cyclops Daddy.
Okay.
What?
He looks up at all of you, and the guards outside tell you,
Be careful. He is possessed of a cunning mind.
which is one of the most dangerous things, apparently, according to lizard folk.
I'm just gonna look at Hypatia and completely be unworried.
He looks up and he says, "Oh, hello."
I'm gonna grab one of his little toys and inspect it. Be like, this is ingenious.
That. I suppose. It's a hobby of mine. I'm a big fan of machine life.
Have you met Vulcan? He seems to like that too.
I have never had the chance, but I have heard great things of his artifice. Excuse me. I'm being rude again. I don't often have folk to speak with. My name is Steros.
Nice to meet you. Steros, son Philippocles, son of Pythor.
Yes, I watched from the entrance to my cave. You threw something into the volcano and then gave a big rowdy speech. It was well orated.
Yeah, I don't really do those that often. But what are you doing here?
I was forced into servitude by Sidon, the Titan of Storms. He assigned me to work here, claiming that if I did so, it would go a long way towards removing my debt to him and keeping my father alive.
And he wasted you here with all this talent? Ugh.
Well, that is likely because he has my father doing whatever projects he needs. I am but a newborn chick, whereas my father is a great winged rock flying high above the seas.
And
Who is your father?
Sidon holds your father prisoner?
Also, how is your father a rock? You're a Cyclops.
Oh, I was using colorful language to try and paint a picture in your mind. He is a Jankan, just like me.
Well. In any case, this little mechanism that opens the mouth here, that's ingenious.
Yes. I have many such creations. It's a hobby of mine that passes the time.
I go back to looking at the toys.
Sidon.
It's a pleasure to meet you. My name is Cyrus.
No. The pleasure is mine. Are you the ones responsible for the great commotion? First with the bat-winged behemoths, and then this skirmish broke out.
Yes, we have removed Sidon's influence from this island. We are his enemies.
Oh, interesting. How fortuitous that you have found your way into my cave. I do not count the Titan as a friend. He has taken my father prisoner. When I went to confront him, I was taken prisoner as well. I would very much like to continue my quest to rescue him.
The yellow exclamation mark.
Seems our
appears above
meeting
his
is very
head.
fortuitous. We have restored the Ultros. Have you heard of it?
I have a fine ship.
We sail it.
Some say the finest ever made.
Currently we are sailing the seas, removing Sidon's influence for what to come. We may encounter your father along the way.
It would behoove you to do so. I believe the main reason my father attracted the ire of Sidon is that he had recently developed new forging techniques using a rare material known as star metal. At night, when you look at the sky and you see the stars glistening, you might often ask yourself, what is a star?
It's a burning ball of gas millions of miles away.
Oh my god, he laughs so hard when you say that ridiculous bullshit. Oh, he
I'm
wipes
laughing
the
as
tear.
well.
Yeah,
That's
he wipes
just-
the tear. It is not often that I meet a fellow academic with such a lively imagination and sense of humor. You must be the funny one of the group. No. Everyone knows that stars are the concentrated energy of worlds that have long ago lost their vibrance. They have died. They have slumbered. They have condensed into pure energy. Sometimes they fall free of the Nyx and fall to Earth. Very rarely they can be found. My father, he has developed a technique wherein you can forge those metals into weapons. He had begun work on just such a weapon when Sidon and his minions attacked.
Fascinating.
Well, if
I
Sidon has
didn't
your
know any
father-
better. I would say that Sidon is afraid of these weapons.
Yes. It's very interesting news. If he has your father making weapons of war, they're intended to be aimed at us. Phil's gonna turn to everyone. I feel like we can't let this go on much longer.
Hey, can you make me one of these that's like a little flying snake? And I'm gonna point at Skilla, like a little baby Skilla.
Oh, it would be a delightful prospect. Certainly.
Okay, yes, he can come.
Lord Steros, what do you know of ships?
I mean, I know how to build one. I know how to navigate. I have a fair understanding of constellation navigation.
Well, we may need a navigator or a shipwright. Am I mistaken, Philippocles?
Right?
Phil just wants people to row.
I mean, he could row. I can tell, but perhaps after we rescue his father, we send him to my grandfather, and perhaps use this knowledge for our sake. Would you be amenable to that?
Oh, a chance to work with the great Vulcan after rescuing my father and completing my great quest, all with the continued benefits of being a thorn in the side of the Stormlord? This sounds like a great offer you offer to me.
And it's decided. You're now free of Sidon. You
Oh.
may accompany us.
Excellent. He reaches down to his leg manacles, and he picks the lock and shakes them off.
Maybe present you to the son of Vulcan himself, Pythor.
Yeah, he looks over at Pythor, and you see Pythor just looking kind of gruff and moody. He's like looking out the window, the opening of the cave. He looks back at the guy and he smiles at him, and Steros smiles back at him, and then out of the side of his mouth, he says, That's the son of the great Vulcan, known for his fathomless intellect. All right.
And
it is a pleasure to meet you, Pythor, god of battle. And he smiles. And Pythor smiles back at him. Well then. And you see him crack all 20 of his knuckles. It's pretty gross to watch. Allow me to pack up my things, and then I'll be ready to go. And he starts to sort of busy himself packing up his belongings.
Sorry, Phil. Didn't mean to step on your toes. Just not often I get to introduce somebody to a god.
All right,
Yeah,
Pythor
I
says,
guess, yeah.
What does he mean? What does he mean, fathomless intellect? I mean, Kyra pulls pranks on Dad all the time. He can't be that smart. And she leans into him and says, well, that's just because I'm smarter.
No, Kyra, that's because there's a difference between intelligence and wisdom.
That would explain why I never really managed to pull any pranks off on Valis. But hey, you guys remember when I dropped that really offensive question during the great debates? Oh man, she didn't see that one coming.
I'm sorry, I missed that.
Yeah. Sometimes when things are darkest and hope feels a million miles away, I think back to how mad she was in that moment. And I pick myself up and I keep going.
He's definitely sure she's getting all her memories back. So.
Nancy, I was meaning to ask, could you tell me the answer to that question in private?
Which question?
The one you asked at the
Oh, yeah. I'll tell. Yeah, it'll have to be in secret chat though.
Okay.
Yeah, it's
I
funny
look
you should mention that, Cyrus, if that's your real name. Oh, I feel so invigorated. She turns to Astraeus, and her face, the mask of jovial kind of whim cracks a bit. And she says, I remember everything.
I'll just nod. Then you remember that there is nothing ill between us. And I'll just give her hand a quick squeeze.
Also, I don't want to maybe brag, but I know that one member of your adventuring party was waifu of the year. I just want to say that someone might be secretly dating her. Just throwing that information out there. Don't want to put anybody's business out there, but could be happening. I don't know. Maybe.
Anna, what's a waifu?
I don't know.
Well, they keep saying weird things.
Well,
I think that's what happens when you actually stay with a woman. Ain't that right, Dad?
oh yeah, I've had lots of waifus. So, Hexia keeps stealing them, but
Not for long.
He looks really sad when you say that. Yeah, I guess not.
Should we start moving?
Wait. So, are we gonna feast with everyone?
Probably should.
I also want to go back to the Heart of Flame and potentially talk to salamanders and what's her face. I just I would like to get some biological information. Does she need the sacrifices, etc. and so on.
I'll go with you and
I
watch your back.
I feel like we need to hammer some things out.
I imagine it's like a rudimentary form of tribute to any of the divines.
Oh yeah, but maybe there's another way they could, do that.
All right. You guys, with your own knowledge of the gods, godlike beings, divine sparks, religion, that sort of thing, you know that in the world of Thylea, sacrifice is the most direct route of giving tribute and power to the gods. One, because the fire's consumption of the creature directly emits its body, its soul, its energy, and sends it on its way to the target. Nothing is kept for anyone else, and it is sent directly to the being it's being sacrificed for. Furthermore, the term sacrifice in general is less about the creature being sacrificed than the sacrifice that is being made by losing that person or resource, in the case of valued livestock or animals, or a great kill that you've made that could be made into an awesome weapon or armor or trophy. That has power, that sacrifice. That loss is a gift. Therefore, the sacrifice of an intelligent, sentient creature is always going to, for better or for worse, be more fruitful to a divine being than just a beast or other animal. But even the five gods that you guys, are working with, I mean, they get stuff sacrificed to them on the daily. They sacrifice strong animals to fight Thor, bulls, oxen, bears, things like that, all the time, to gain his favor, to honor him, that sort of thing. Same thing with Kyra. Sacrifices are made to her, not probably as frequently as her siblings, but they are made. However, you do know that even small tributes, like every person dumping out a small portion of wine to Lutheria, every little sacrifice does add up. The issue here with Halcyon is that she's never really going to gain that much power because no one knows she's here for the most part. They think it's a legend or a story at best, if they've even heard of it. Or if they've heard that there's a woman trapped beneath her, they have no idea who she is. They simply call her the prisoner. The lizard folk here have more than likely have been sustaining her through these sacrifices without even realizing it. Without them, I mean, her already limited power would start to dwindle.
Now that they know her actual name, though, and know that she's a Titan, does that change things?
I'm certainly. I mean, if they were to sort of more formalize it, more organize it, less primitive, toss somebody off and hope for the best, and get a bit more praying going on, that kind of thing. It could probably bolster if they switch to livestock instead of people. They could maybe make up the difference. Alternately, if they switch to livestock, she'd still live. She just, it'd be diminishing gains kind of thing. But what the trick here is, you're pretty sure that these sacrifices are also strengthening the prison that traps her. So it's like a double-edged sword. It keeps her alive, but it also keeps her trapped.
Yeah. So I would kind of go and try to explain that to the salamanders. And, God, I have a mental block. I cannot remember her name. Halcyon?
Halcyon?
Okay. I would try and explain that and see. Basically, I'm hammering out a religion here.
Okay.
And then I also want to just find out some general geologic information about the volcano. Is there something about her that is keeping it in check? If she leaves, will that be bad? Or is it just that it will blow up because she's so angry that we kept her prisoner?
Oh, Halcyon tells you that the volcano was here long before she even came. She simply was chased here by her siblings, hid, was discovered, and then they trapped her. She hates fire, and is afraid of it. So it's been a very unpleasant experience for her.
Oh my.
Oh.
Yeah. She informs you that her domain was swiftness. It had nothing to do with fire.
Then why are the salamanders drawn to you?
She said that a desperate being works with the tools on hand.
Okay.
She remade herself something worth saving in the eyes of the creatures nearby.
Aww. Well, that's a little sad. But just so we're clear, if we free you, the volcano's not going to blow up and destroy the island, because that would be inconvenient.
Now, she does tell you that she has prevented the volcano from erupting.
Oh, okay.
So once she leaves, the volcano's back to doing what it wants to do. So she can't swear an oath or make any promises that the volcano won't explode.
Okay.
A volcano gonna do what a volcano gonna do.
I'm at the moment not going to say anything, but once we free her, I will just inform the lizard folk of that.
Okay. I mean, as a kid, I lived in Italy. I went to summer camp in a volcano.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like, you know, people who need a place to live, they're just gonna keep doing it. You know what I'm saying? You're not gonna convince Italians that they should probably move somewhere else. You know.
It makes nice, soil. It's good.
Now keep in mind, most volcanic eruptions are not like apocalyptic end of the world situations. You know, like you probably can't live inside this volcano anymore. That's probably not a good idea. But they have a whole flippin' island to live on. So yeah, you probably just need to explain like, hey, now that she's loose, you guys need to kind of move your operation towards the beach. Yeah, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Perhaps if we get these lizard folk to worship Halcyon, we create this religion you speak of. Perhaps she will grow fond of them and want to keep watch over them.
Yeah.
Pythor bristles a little bit. He's like, whoa. We're in this situation because we've got two titans running around playing God. I mean, you want to get another one?
What else are we gonna do when we free her?
I'm all for the enemy of my enemy is my friend and allies against the common foe, but I mean that doesn't mean we have to set her up for tremendous success and then potentially be a future threat you have to deal with.
It's kind of a little out of the way island.
Also, I'm gonna tell it to you straight. Being a god, he looks left and he looks right. Kind of sucks. Okay, like I mean, you might want to check with her that she even wants something like that.
I imagine after centuries of imprisonment, she's likely not looking to be shepherded into.
A little.
I'm just spitball. Let's just do what we gotta do. All right.
Yeah.
If the volcano erupts and kills everyone, that's too bad. If
In
she
the
stops
meantime-
it,
Well, I
that's cool.
just don't want to be here when it happens. That's all
If
I'm saying.
Cyrus and Kyra float this idea past her, she basically says that if the simple-minded lizard folk are malleable enough to increase the amount of worship that they're offering, she will gladly take their power and share it with the conduits until such a time as she needs to reclaim it for herself.
Hey, that's awesome. Means Kyra's getting boosted until we free her.
Yeah, I mean, I'm down for whatever. She seemed like scared. She just seemed scared when I talked to her. I just want to help her.
Kyra nods at Philippocles' words, her face showing heartache.
Okay, well, my questions have been satisfied.
I look forward to a day when I can meet a Titan that isn't a madman or a mad woman or a tyrant.
I mean, I think you have maybe a optimistic view of her sanity after having been imprisoned for millions of years.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Hypatia's got the right of this. When she gets out, it's going to be a rampage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, Kyra.
No. Don't even start.
This time?
Yeah, I'm using the word right. Okay, it could have been a rampage, but this one right here put him to sleep right away. And then what were we gonna rampage? We're just gonna hit him with pillows? It was definitely a rampage at the autumn with the autumn wind. I'm just saying that was definitely a rampage. I'll never forget Talus just getting boxed with fireball fists for like 10 minutes. That's 100 combat rounds, Philippocles. Yeah.
I'll get hyped up. I'm getting hyped up.
Okay.
Right, do we want to?
You're still blaming me for not being a rampage? I'm not the one that put the dude to sleep. I'm not the one that put the dude to sleep. Unreal.
I hit that poor man, and he was just trying to be nice and give me a hug, and I hit him. I headbutt him.
I mean, that was cool, though.
It lingers on my conscience still.
Hey. The guy probably gets free drinks all the time. He's like, you see this dent in my skull? I got this from the great hero Philippocles.
And then he tells that message to the same guy 5 minutes later because he short memory.
And he probably gets a drink every time.
Alright, let's do this feast thing. Let's set up this religion thing. I mean, let's not be too... Let's make sure they're amenable to it.
Fine.
And they want to.
Yeah. I think they will.
Do we want to see if they hold anything that could aid us? In the future? I'm not really good for asking for shit.
See if they want to send any emissaries with us. Join our cause.
That's a good idea as well.
Okay. Before I forget, because it's in a different section of the book, because God forbid they mention the dude's dad's name when they introduce the dude that wants to save his dad. Hold on a second. His dad's name is Bront. You know, like Brontosaurus. His name is Bront. Alright, let me jump back to the other part of the adventure then.
Oh, how is Baby Dragon doing? Is he awake? Not knocked out?
Okay, so Baby Dragon. He is... What's the best way?
We still have him with us.
Yeah, so Cyver the Brass, he is still KO. It has not been 4 hours. Did you guys bonk him on the head at some point? Is that what's going on?
Yeah, we bonked him on the head. Yeah.
Okay, but that was way before he got sent to the hatchery, right?
That's why he got sent to the hatchery.
I have to ask, Astreus, would you bonk this juvenile delinquent on the head again if he was trying to, say, light you on fire while you escaped from the volcano?
I would have probably asked Phil to make a creative use of some of that ample rope he has to bind legs, wings, and head in such a manner that
he would just drool fire all over himself and burn the ropes.
Oh damn!
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, they're very smart. They come out of the egg ready to rock. Yeah.
Cool. I would suggest to the dragon by pointing at my crown that he has no idea what they're truly capable of and try and intimidate him into behaving.
He looks at the crown. I'm assuming we're going back in time for this because we never actually got to cover it. The kidnapping of this baby.
Well, he was unconscious when we were dragging him up, but he maybe woke up as we were traversing the path.
Right. As you point to your crown, he looks at it and he says,
I'm supposed to respect you more because you wear a princess crown? If anything, I respect you less.
You do not know what this is, do you?
It's a princess crown.
It is a crown of the Dragonlords.
For a girly princess.
I'm going to pat him gently on the head and...
He hisses at you, threatening to bite.
Hey, I've been the one who's been nice to you this whole time.
No one's been nice. You killed my father and my friend.
He wasn't your father.
You handed my mother over to her enemies.
Also
she wasn't
not
your mother.
You've been a prisoner without even knowing it.
No, I'm a prisoner right now. This is dragon napping.
It looks over at Steros and says,
"No, this is dragon napping," and I bonk him on the head.
Listen, it's about to be dragon Stockholm syndrome if you don't shut up.
I don't know what that means, but I know that this slave is faltering in his duty. I will burn that beard from your face, old man, if you do not destroy them with your laser eye.
He's no longer a slave.
What? How much did I miss? How long was I out?
Unfortunately, quite a while, little one.
A few hours.
Because you beat me into unconsciousness.
Well, you left us no choice to beat you.
Because you abuse babies.
No,
You're baby abusers.
I'm going to pull out a gold coin. Say, I will give this to you, and it will become the first piece of your new hoard.
No, you will give me my father's hoard. I inherited it.
No.
If you refuse to give it to me, you prove to the gods and titans that you are thieves.
You know you are among the gods, right?
He looks around, like dramatically. He looks left and right. He looks right past Kyra and Pythor. He just looks bewildered. He picks up the rug and he looks under the rug.
I don't see them anywhere. I see a fat, hairy bear.
I bonk him on the head and I knock him out.
Ugly
Before he can say it! Before he can say it!
Kyra chuckles. Pythor looks a bit upset. Why does everybody say I look like a bear? Astreus! You're my cleric. Do I look like a bear? And he lumbers over you, and you only see fur and teeth as he lumbers over you.
I'm gonna pat him on the arm.
Do I look like
say,
a bear to you?
At the academy, there were lots of people who really liked that. Like, that's a good thing.
I have never seen a bear look half so mighty.
Just half? Just half, Astreus?
I'm gonna look at Phil like, what are
I've
you
seen a
doing to
bear
me,
look
man?
Twice as mighty. That old fat fart. He's nothing like a bear. I was mistaken. He is a hamster.
Phil,
He is a
silence that little
giant,
bastard
ugly hamster.
before
see-
Pythor
you
twists his
see-
head off.
You see tears begin to form in Pythor's eyes.
Oh.
Kyra begins to shush him, and she whispers to Astreus,
You can't listen to a baby fucking
he's
dragon.
still not over it. He had a pet hamster, and he stepped on it on accident. So-
All right.
The dragon's ear holes twitch.
Oh, so you do murder babies. You're a murderer. A murderer.
All right, I'm gonna take the little guy into timeout. I'm gonna say, can I get the key to the vault real quick?
Yeah, who had that? Yeah, we'll give it to him.
All right.
We're gonna place the baby in the vault.
Roughly every 18 seconds, he goes off like a fucking flamethrower.
Well, that's why I have the shield mastery, and I'll.
Okay, all right. I'm
Just
just
block
saying,
it.
46 fire damage every 18 seconds from this dude. He is non-stop flamethrower.
I'm knocking him out.
All right, yeah, okay. So you just give him one quick knuckle wrap on the back of the head, and he's KO. Because this is a fantasy world, and we don't worry about concussions, which completely wrecks my life IRL. So we don't worry about none of the fucking concussions. You bonk people in the head as much as you want.
So, if it's okay with everyone, if it's okay, I'm gonna put him in the vault.
Yeah, you guys are
establish
going to damage his little brain if you keep doing that. So.
Well,
He's a
do you
little
have a
shit.
solution?
Do I have a solution? I don't know. Do I look like a mothering person to you?
No. You do not.
You take him out back, you have him pick out a stick, and you hit him with the stick.
I thought maybe I'd put him in timeout in the vault.
I mean, that's what Mom used to do. And Pythor nods.
I'm just gonna put a hand reassuringly on Pythor's back, probably his lower back, because he's probably a lot taller than I am, but to be like, I had a brother. He also had a hamster. It's more common than you may think. Accidents happen, and it's very sad.
I mean, they also only lived like 2 years. He was
Why
probably
are we
really old.
talking about a rodent?
Astreus, do you think Duty forgives me in hamster heaven?
I think he knows you loved him very much.
He embraces you. It is like being hugged by a bear.
So, like, no word of a lie, and I don't know if my brother is still watching our streams, but when he was young, he was playing Legos with his hamster, and his hamster wouldn't stand still, so he tried to hold it down using the flat green piece,
Oh no.
and he
I don't want to hear the story.
Yeah, that's enough. That's enough.
Yeah.
That's enough. That's enough. That's enough.
It was very sad.
That's enough.
It was very
That's
sad. So I feel for Pythor. I give him a big burly hug back because
He is so strong and he is so brave that he's not afraid to cry for the memory of duty as you hold him. The dwarves do look away because they want to respect his emotional outburst.
Alright, so let's come up with a plan for the next time this little shit wakes up.
This is. I'm willing to put him in timeout in the vault and speak with him telepathically through there to calm him down.
I mean, how long do you want to stay on this island with the vault and a wayward baby? I mean, we got stuff to do.
Yeah.
We do need to figure out a way, though, for him to not be breathing fire all over our ship, our wood ship.
We tie a rope to him, a metal rope, and we tie him to the back of the ship, and he'll just breathe fire into the water.
Steros kind of clears his throat, and he says, "Well, I don't want to interrupt, but if it would be beneficial to you, I could give me a few hours. I could perhaps make a collar. Whenever he does something you don't like, you can shock him."
Oh, yeah.
My player is opposed, but Philippocles is nodding in agreement.
Well, I mean, it's a common technique for trading wyverns. At least it used to be.
Do you have a version that comes as like a water spray bottle?
I mean, you want a bottle that can spray water? I could make something like that, certainly.
Yeah, and then every time he tries to bird us, we just squirt him with water. Like, put it out.
Yeah, do you feel that something that soft-handed will work?
I mean, if it's annoying enough.
We could certainly try. I don't think anyone's ever attempted such a thing.
Well, go ahead and make them both.
Okay. All right. He says, I take it then that we won't be leaving until morning.
Yeah, I think we were supposed to feast with the people.
All right. I will work
some
diligently on the devices we have discussed.
Baby can spend the night in the vault. That's fine.
Dang, putting baby in the vault. That's rough.
I'm still waiting for Kyra to make a baby in the corner joke.
Okay. Wow.
She looks at Astraeus and says, nobody would get it. They're all too young. So. Okay, most of them are too young. All right, Graxus grumbles and says, so we're here then until the morning.
Seems so.
That's what it appears.
Understood. All right. I guess time progresses. Is there anything that you guys were hoping to accomplish besides locking a baby in a miniature bank vault?
Well, that and pseudo creating a religion.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, creating a religion overnight is going to be a little rough, but if you want to meet with the Salamander Noble and maybe discuss how should I put this? Efficiency of prayer with her, kind of explain what your end goal is, I'm sure that would probably go over pretty well.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, and like maybe wrap the queen in too so that she can, wrap the lizard folk in.
Okay.
All on the same page.
Okay. So, Hypatia, you and whoever is carrying your presentation supplies, you meet with the queen and the Salamander Noble. Apparently, she's impolite right now. Oh, let's change that out. There we go. All right. And they patiently wait for you to explain how you're going to pump those numbers, is apparently what Kyra told them you were going to teach them.
Yes, and I will explain how sacrificing your people is a great way to power her up, and that really helps her. So good job doing that.
All right, all the lizard folks seem pretty pleased with your kind words.
Thank you. I have already selected the next 3 weeks worth of sacrifices.
Well, thing is, turns out it also kind of hurts her because it also strengthens the prison as well as strengthening her.
Oh,
So,
no.
yes. But you did the best you could with what you had. It was great job. So we want to alter things a bit so that we sacrifice things of a bit less value, but we're gonna make up for it in praise and worship, and prayer.
What is this? Praise, worship, and prayer.
You're gonna spend some time just thinking about how great she is. And how you would like her to not blow up the volcano and kill you all.
Wait, all we have to do is think about things that we wish she would do? And that's it?
Yeah.
Phil's
That
flipping the
seems
charts
ridiculous.
right now.
All right, you flip the chart. It shows a stick figure lizard folk with little thought bubbles above its head and an exploding volcano with a no symbol. And on the next page, it shows the real volcano not erupting and all the lizard folk being very happy.
We are represented by those crude drawings. Here we are experiencing joy at the volcano not erupting because we thought hard about it not erupting.
Yes, exactly.
So expending no effort whatsoever and just lazily thinking about what you wish could happen has power?
Well, you have to think about it hard.
If this guard over here was sick, rather than find a healer, I could simply think about how I wish he felt better. This is prayer?
I mean, yeah. But also...
Well, we will no longer need to practice medicine.
All the lizard folk nod their heads.
No. And I'm writing a medicine good chart.
Okay.
You just invented thoughts and prayers.
Halcyon helps those who help themselves.
So it turns out you want to get a medicine person and have them perform medicine. And while you're doing it, ask Halcyon, the protector of this volcano, to also aid in their cure. And together...
Halcyon is the god of medicine.
Well, no, but...
Oh. Why would we ask her for assistance? We only like trained individuals to make skill checks. It's inefficient to do otherwise.
Do they not have clerics?
They have shamans who control the natural elements, and then those shamans were gaining power from the ritual sacrifice to the volcano.
I'm gonna. You guys should explain to them the notion of a cleric as opposed to a shaman.
You know how Jeremy Crawford druids do. You know what I'm saying? They don't got no gods. They just do whatever the fuck they want.
I'll hold a finger up, and okay. I'll get Astraeus, and I'll say, "Here, I don't understand the. I'm not explaining this well. Explain it better."
Yeah, Astraeus, you showed me how to pray.
So. I'm gonna look over their charts.
I told them to think really hard about stuff that they want. That's right.
Now, it's worth mentioning that the Salamander Noble 100% understands what you're saying, and is just watching you guys flounder and watching these primitive creatures try to understand these more advanced social and theological concepts. Because lawful evil.
So the nature of prayer is that it is a two-way relationship between yourself and the god or titan that you are praying to. Your prayers will strengthen them, and in turn, those who have the deepest of faith, and I'm going to try and approach it in what I think they may need, those who pray the hardest and mean it the most without greed are sometimes rewarded with divine magic similar to that of your healers and shamans.
But there is only enough power to be distributed to those who pray the hardest. Therefore, it would be beneficial for anyone interested in such powers to eliminate their competition.
No, it
Perhaps
is not.
As a sacrifice.
No. I see I see where that may seem apparent. However, it is not as though the power provided is finite. It is not necessarily limited and weakened by being spread. Remember, the more people who pray, the stronger the Titan will get. You still need healers, those who practice medicine, for those situations where you do not have access to those who are gifted with the divine magic. But those who are gifted with the divine magic, they will be rewarded with a closer relationship to the Titan and may be able to cast healing magics.
So thoughts and prayers do heal people, if you think and pray hard enough.
Yes, but if you are in the absence of one who has been gifted with the healing magic, then you must still turn to your healers, your skilled healers who have mastered their crafts over many years, many generations perhaps. Do not forget them. They are an integral part of your society. Thoughts and prayers can be very powerful, but they are not absolute.
We will dedicate a time twice a day that all must think about how great the Heart of Flame is.
That's a great idea.
I suggest dawn and dusk.
Before we throw someone into the volcano, and
God.
one time will be after we throw the person into the volcano.
Gonna throw my hands up and leave.
You hear a soft,
nothing.
soft golf clap from the Salamander Noble.
I mean, we've now integrated the two types of faith, I guess.
Astraeus, you gotta tell them, when you sing, you pray twice. That's like on my business card.
What?
Yeah.
Also, make sure you sing.
It's catchy,
Make sure
right? When you
love it.
sing, you pray twice.
Wait, that's to you though.
Yeah, but like I'm getting some of this juice, so I want this lemonade stand to do really well. You know what I'm saying?
I get you. So
look, how about this? Just tell them two times to think, one dinosaur. Boom, done.
And then sing after the dinosaur. As the dinosaur.
The good news, something you may want to know, your queenness. She is a titan of swiftness. And swiftness is always valued on the hunt, is it not?
Oh, so she can make us fast and control the volcano?
With enough faith, yes.
Hey, I just got here. If they're throwing someone into the volcano, don't throw the dinosaurs. I mean, in a fight, the dinosaurs are worth like 3 lizard folk. I mean, just throw I'm just saying.
But that's what we want.
I mean, okay, all right. Just bear with me, Hypatia. You're kind of a nerd, no offense, so you probably don't think about fighting as much as you should. But if you're getting into a fight, who do you want backing you up? Okay? Random lizard? Or dinosaur?
Is the dinosaur going to eat me?
I'm assuming that these are battle dinosaurs, so no.
Why not sacrifice creatures of the sea? That lessens the Sidon's control.
He looks at Kyra, and Kyra looks at him, and you hear his stomach growl, and he says, "Do you like fish? Do you like seafood?"
Here's what you do. Okay, we've got it figured out.
You know what, Astraeus? Why don't I get fish sacrificed to me? Maybe I'm tired of all the ox and the bulls and the bears. So where's the fish at?
I'm gonna look at him like there's gonna be a moment where I was like blink blink kind of shock, and then I'm just gonna like look at him almost stern, and I'll be like, Pythor, you are a god and you were a king. If you want fish, you merely need to say so.
This information shakes him to his core. Kyra just nods sagely. She says, people aren't going to know what you like unless you tell them. You know? That's why Dad keeps getting you encyclopedias every year for your birthday, because you never speak up.
Okay.
Astreus is nodding. He doesn't know what
an
encyclopedia is, but he's nodding.
Think twice a day. Sacrifice. Become good fishermen.
Oh, okay.
Sacrifice big fish.
Big fish.
And when you do so, sing.
Okay. Think.
And
Fish. Sacrifice fish. Sing. Think.
Anna, sing. Teach them a song. They can sing to Halcyon and Kyra and my dad. Just put my dad in there too.
I know what.
You know,
It's
Anna,
called-
spice a little bit of me in there, just in case.
It's called
You don't
Baby
have to.
Shark.
Oh, damn. That's too powerful. Oh my god. Do you do you teach them a prayer song, Anastasia?
I just got back.
All right, as you walk into the
It's
room,
getting a little weird.
that your allies demand that you teach the lizard folk how to sing so that they can incorporate it into their new religion.
Okay, and the religion involves sharks?
Yes.
Okay, so yeah. Teach them the baby sharks.
Okay. Okay.
Something similar. It seems appropriate.
All right. Vitha and the others try to follow along, and
Did I
she's
do a
like,
performance, or-
yeah, give me a performance check.
I can help with the moves.
Okay. There's an actual dance involved with Baby Shark.
Yeah,
I'm
I'm doing
sure there
the
is.
hand
I'm sure there
motions
is.
and everything.
I'll be
Yep,
honest.
there
I'll
it
be
is.
honest. When the timelines got messed up, the inclusion of Baby Shark into my timeline was my least favorite part after the Berenstain Bears thing. It was my least favorite part of being shifted to this timeline server. Just saying. Because where I come from, there was no Baby Shark. I swear to God, I'll die on this hill. There was never a Baby Shark. And then one day Baby Shark was there, and nobody believed me. I was like, I'm from a world where there was no Baby Shark. Anyway, sorry.
Yeah.
That's
Have
not-
to? I don't.
No, I
have
support you. I
fondness
support you.
for
Yeah.
this.
Yeah,
What the hell
it's
is
fine.
Baby
it's fine.
Shark? I know left shark and right shark, but what the hell
Oh,
is Baby
no.
Shark?
Oh, you about to
You
find
don't
out.
want. You're gonna hear it everywhere after today.
Yeah, we won't actually play it because Baby Shark will actually sue us if we play Baby Shark, so we're not gonna play
True.
it. But, all right, you give me the performance check with advantage. Well, you already have advantage because Siren, right?
Yeah.
Okay, give me a check anyways, just because it's been a little while. Yes,
me?
you
It
didn't
does-
need any help. You got a 26, so okay.
Yeah, so it's.
But I am
well,
curious what
I'm
the dance
also
looks like.
very familiar with DMCA, so I teach them like it's like an off key.
Oh, okay, gotcha. So you're
Just
like
a baby
hey,
shark or shot.
oh wow, Reset got a nat 20. Apparently, Arisians are really into Baby Shark. All right, with those incredible performance checks, you have created Baby Shark fever within the lizard folk community. They've always been into like rhythm-based music, and the simplicity of this song, Baby Shark doot 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 doot, and then you change like one fucking word out for the next verse. Oh man, it catches like wildfire. They are all about it. They're gonna fish every goddamn shark out of the
No,
ocean
I
and
just
throw them in that
realized that
fucking volcano.
I
What?
made lots of friends with sharks, and now that I've
Yeah,
just,
you did.
I just sacrificed. So Anastasia runs with the. She just-
It might not be your friends. There
No.
are lots of sharks out there.
Every animal is her friend. Even
Sharks could be
Even
allies.
Duty was her friend. And as hearing the word duty, Pythor begins sobbing again. All right. The salamander raises an eyebrow and says, "Truly, you are more cunning and sinister than I gave you credit for. Well played. Well played." All right. You do see her take something out of her side satchel and plug her ears. I have seen worlds destroyed by this melody. I hope you have not unleashed a power you are unable to control. And she slithers away.
I just YouTubed this, and I think I think I hate you all tonight. What? Oh God.
Yeah.
It's awful.
Imagine
They
you
made-
wake up to the server merge of reality, and suddenly this song has apparently been around for a very long time, and you do nothing about it. I raised children, and we never encountered this song. I know that it didn't exist. Anyway,
It has 8
I mean-
billion views.
it's
Like
sketchy.
a decade ago, they made us in boot camp do 8 counts to this song.
Oh my
Oh,
god.
they made us sing it over and over for hours.
This existed a decade ago.
In some timelines, okay? I'm from the timeline where there were evil clowns. Do any of you remember the evil clowns? No?
Yes,
Okay,
the ones
okay.
that were just randomly freaking appearing.
Exactly, yes. Okay. Anyways,
I would
know-
take the clowns instead of this song.
I know not all realities got all of the updates. That happens when you have a lot of servers running. Anyways, okay. So you have introduced prayer, music, and religion to these people. It doesn't stop them from pushing the queen into the volcano tonight.
Yeah, that's
All right. So they cook up polyphorus, and there's obviously not enough polyphorus to go around. It would be good manners to give everyone a bite of polyphorus, but they give you the opportunity to show how polite you are by giving the 6 of you first dibs on polyphorus's cooked body.
I will take a small piece and pass it along.
Okay.
Was his eye missing?
It's very
or blind?
reminiscent of like a company ordering a cake for a function, but they got like a really small cake. So everybody's expected to take like the tiniest piece of cake, and everyone's waiting for that one person who's a total asshole to just take a huge honking piece of cake. All right. Astreus, how much polyphorus cake do you eat?
This is dependent on, was he missing his eye or was it a blinded eye?
He was blinded long ago.
I will take a slurp of eyeball.
Okay. I mean, he doesn't have any eyeball. Like his eye got blinded long ago.
Well, I mean, people can have a blinded eye that's still an eyeball in their socket. You're saying his was missing, completely gone.
Yeah. Look at that hollow.
Oh.
Look at that hollow socket. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then I will take a meager bite so as to leave enough for others.
Okay. Fair enough. Cyrus, do you?
I would take a bit of ear tip jerky.
Okay. Fair enough. Some of the lizard folk kind of nudge you with their elbow, and they say,
Great hero, you don't have to be so polite. Here, you may have my portion.
and they hand you a piece of more meaty fare.
I will say thank you. And
Okay. Philippocles?
Yeah, I mean, I'll just, I don't know. This is weird for me. I'm gonna just, roll a d20.
Oh, okay. Someone in chat said, I thought they were supposed to be better than the Dragonlords before them, but they've just let Baby Shark into this world. Well said. All right, you got a 6. I don't know what that represents.
Yeah. No, that's an even, so yeah, I'll just eat a finger.
Okay. Anastasia?
I want to find a clever way to not eat it.
Okay, fair enough.
I mean, there's all these magma hounds running around. You could just, flip it under the table.
Okay.
Yeah, Kyra gives you a SpongeBob gummy Krabby Patty, and makes a big deal about what a fancy piece of Cyclops you have. Doesn't she have a fancy piece of Cyclops, everybody? And everybody oohs and ahs as you eat the SpongeBob Krabby Patty gummy. Honestly, the Cyclops probably tasted better, honestly. So, all right. Reset, do you partake of the feast?
Yeah, she'll have some of the tongue.
Okay, fair enough. All right. Pythor totally eats them. He's like, yeah, he's down for it. Kyra waits till Anastasia's not looking and she eats them. And your other NPCs, Graxus politely declines and kind of lowers his head. And the dwarves just kind of shrug and they each take a bite and move on with their lives. All right. The night passes.
So sometime during the night,
Yeah.
I would like to speak with Cyrus.
Okay.
And sometime I would like to speak with Strayus.
Some party music here. Okay. Yeah, you seek out who are you trying to seek out first?
Cyrus.
Okay. All right, Cyrus. Amidst the celebration, the Eresian monk Reset approaches.
Hello, Reset.
Hi. Look, I wanted to apologize for what happened today. We haven't really had much time to talk. So I just wanted to kind of get to know you a bit.
All right. I'm an open book. What would you like to know?
I didn't really get a chance to see you in the arena, so the only reason I let you on the ship was because Versi said that you could be trusted. That you will save one of us. And in the time that you've been with us, I've got the feeling that your intentions are, at least, they're good. But we don't know anything about you. Who are you?
Well, I am a child who grew up knowing hardship. I'm apparently have the blood of Titans flowing through me, yet I know not which Titan. And none seem to claim lineage for me to be of a lineage.
Had this been near the beginning of our journey, your blood probably would have made us enemies. But we've met many of the Titan blood. We can trust you, right?
As much as you can trust anyone, sure. I mean, I'm not out to harm anyone here, really. But I also share no love for most of my family. Those I've seen of Thylea and of Sidon, neither have seemed like the type of people I'd want to support. I've worked as a mercenary for most of my life. So I've seen the hardship that their spawn and their scheming seems to have brought, especially to those who are not native to this land.
I am also from a place far from here. Where did you come from?
A village that no longer exists. It was apparently destroyed when I was but a small child. A great dragon of gold and crimson destroyed it. The beast still actually seems to have it out for me.
I got the sense that you have a history with these dragons.
Just the one.
Will this be a problem?
No, I mean, now having seen a dragon that's not as bloodthirsty up close, though he does seem to have a bit of a bad temper, I see that dragons are much like us, I suppose. To judge all by the actions of one would be kind of reckless.
Rosetta's going to smile to that.
Especially if they're flaunted by a corruption that they themselves had no part in. I feel sorry for the little guy, really.
I haven't been away from my home for long, and I've only just begun learning about this world and the Dragonlords. There is still a lot for me to learn, but one of the biggest things I've taken away is that we cannot judge creatures or people by their blood, just like with you, and just like with the dragons. I just want you to know that I wasn't fond of the action that you chose to take.
Now, Reset, I do have a question for you. You do realize you are dealing with some things that are... You're not able to befriend everything. I've heard the stories. For the most part, you've been able to befriend or make, at least, talk down most enemies you've come across. And I applaud you for that. But I've seen the harshness of battle and what is out there. And it isn't pretty. Some of these entities, many of them that work for Sidon and Letheria, can't be reasoned with, or won't. Or worse, will put on the face of somebody who will, and just stab you in the back as soon as they get the chance. It is something we have to be aware of.
I understand. But even so, I don't think I can bring myself to automatically dismiss everyone that we come by. At least, I would like to give them a chance. And if my naivete gets the better of me, then perhaps I can count on you and everyone else to be there and to help us get out of it.
I'm certainly doing my best. God, that song is annoying.
Oh yeah, they haven't stopped singing it since you taught it to them. So it's the only song they're singing through this entire celebration.
It's like every other thought is just we just get lost.
Yeah.
You said about the dragon. Do you want us to help with that?
At some point, it probably will need to be addressed. I'm sure he'll find me at some point in this journey. It is a great beast, larger than any dragon I've seen so far.
You have shown that you are a very capable warrior. I'm glad to have you on our side.
Oh, and if somebody happens... Oh, and I just remembered the name of the town. I think they called it Solmita. Solmita, sorry. Not sure if that rings a bell.
Perhaps we should mention this to the others. Perhaps Hypatia may know a bit more.
Well, I'm willing to learn anything I can.
Like, Hypatia is sitting at the table being miserable, but all of the snakes are doing the dance.
Oh no. Okay.
Doing
Anna,
the dodge.
you can hear the snakes. They are singing the song. All 42 of them.
Nice. What have I done?
This is why Sidon destroyed your people.
The song that sunk the city of the sirens. This was it. Oh boy.
They like sharks,
yeah.
do they? How
Did
good
you-
sharks?
Did you memorize silence today?
No.
Hypatia, if it is brought up to you, the village of Solmita, we'll call it Solmita, that's fine. The village of Solmita is, or was, a fishing village, coastal fishing village. It was not really like a military power or anything. Very much like keep to yourself, self-sustain, local farms, all that jazz. Oh, it's Hypatia. Okay, Hypatia. If they ask you about the town, the village of Solmita, you know that Solmita was a fishing village that was self-sufficient, had no real military power, and was on relatively good terms with other settlements and even neighboring Fey settlements. Keeping in mind that the continent of Thylea was pretty big, and there were more cities than just Astoria, Aregia, and Mitros, but those are the three cities that, let's be honest, those are the three cities that mattered. But if you look close at the map, if you zoom in really close, you'll see that the whole thing is dotted with smaller villages and settlements. However, this town was destroyed by a natural disaster like decades ago. It was one of those like just wiped off the map situations. Because of its size, nobody really, went and investigated. It wasn't like there was an insurance claims agent or anything like went to check it out. It was there one day and it was burned to the ground the next. Some people claim that a falling star hit the village and destroyed it. Others claim that it must have been attacked by raiders, either another village or maybe a centaur raid. Either way, there was allegedly no one survived, and it was burned to the ground.
I will relay that info.
Okay.
Perhaps we will.
And Cyrus, when you hear her explain the falling star thing, it's very much like a PTSD flashback of this great gold and red serpentine dragon just sort of descending from storm clouds and just fucking annihilating like the village. Like you when she says that like falling star thing, you are just back in that moment at that night, watching everything around you burn.
Especially with the smell of lava and brimstone around here, I'm sure.
Oh yeah.
I can assure you it was no star.
Hypatia, if it was in fact some kind of draconic being of fire, it does make sense that witnesses far away would have construed something like that as a falling star.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Resets, you were trying to approach Astreus next?
Yeah, when he's off on his own.
Okay. Oh, I'll put you guys dramatically over here on this awesome pillar of stone.
As I walk up behind him slowly.
I just want to say he's right here at the edge. 20 D10. Yeah.
I ready my 12 key points.
Yeah, no one will ever question your decisions about the Dragonlords ever again.
Astreus.
This was not the way to like key me up for a good RP opportunity.
Okay.
The setup
Sorry,
was a
sorry.
little.
All right. You guys are
Uh,
far enough away that the sounds of doot 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 are a distant, haunting melody, and not a obnoxious. Imagine lizard folk singing that song. Good God.
It never
Good
truly
God.
goes away. It's just always
Yeah.
there.
Okay. Anyways, Astreus, I assume you came out here to get away from the music and the crowds, and Reset approaches.
Mm-hmm.
Just gonna walk up next to him, both staring out at the caldera.
So,
Hey,
I'm glad to see that things ended better than I expected for a moment there.
yeah, me too.
I apologize for my words. I spoke in anger, in the heat of the moment. I lost control. What I said was unkind and not fully deserved. I apologize, Reset.
I also need to apologize for not speaking up when you needed me to, and for not acting.
I fear I made assumptions that were not realistic. Obviously, the Order of the Dragonlords means something to me. But the Order, as I envisioned it, is not the Order that this world has seen. And I fear I have been holding you to a standard that, while not necessarily being even fair, may not even be correct. I am wary of what we will face as we continue on this Odyssey. I respect and love that this group does seek peace before war, even as war is prophesied to come against us. And I worry that the pressures of all of this may be clouding the sense of hope that I have sought refuge in my faith of Mitros. I believe it is important that we stand ready to fight when we need to, but perhaps I am too ready for the fight. I have much reflection to do on my own in this regard. But what is clear to me is that as we move forward, Reset, you will need to take a more assertive role. You have a dragon egg. It will hatch. And at this point he kinda Astreus has like a grin on his face, not like a mocking or laughing grin, but like a grin as if he's remembering something, like a fond memory, and he says, "And a silver dragon is truly a blessing. I envy you. But yours will be a difficult path."
Astreus, It has only been a few months since I've left my home and set out to see the world. I am still naive, and I do not know much about the pain that you and the people of Thylea have gone through. When you came and asked me to help you find a new order of the Dragonlords, to be honest, I didn't really even know what a Dragonlord is supposed to do. I didn't know what it meant. But I think as we continue our journey, as we have continued, I've begun to see the things that are wrong. The things that we need to change. And I can't say that my outlook is the right one. But I want to believe that these people that have been brainwashed by the Stormlord, that if we give them a chance, no matter how bleak it may be, I want to try to help them. And if I fail, I know that you'll be there, and Phil will be there, and Hypatia, and Anastasia, and Cyrus. I can't do this on my own. And you gave me something this afternoon. I wish to give it back to you. I'm gonna take out the egg.
Astreus is going to like for a moment as you hold it, he'll put his hands on the egg, not necessarily taking it quite yet, but so that both of our hands are on it. And he looks at you and he says, "And are you certain you want me to be the first of these chosen after you to possess an egg?"
As someone who bridges the old order and the new, I need you by my side if we are to bring the Dragonlords back. I know that you will always be there to set me straight if I do something wrong. And I know that I can count on you to speak up if you don't agree with my actions.
Astreus will nod and kind of wryly say, "And that must work both ways for this to work. I may have many years on you, but I believe your approach will require a new way of thinking that I may not always embrace easily."
Going to push the egg a little bit more into his hands and say, "It is yours. Welcome to the new order.
Astreus will take the egg and cradle it in one hand, and with the other he'll reach out and I may need ruling on this, Crash. Do we do the forearm grip of the Sword Coast in Thylea, or do they have a different We've lost Crash.
Oh, yeah, I mean that sounds pretty legit. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I'll clasp Rosette's forearm and just like nod my head in agreement. And Rosette, you'll notice I'm now looking at the egg, and I'm just pensive and taking in the weight of the moment.
Well, that's two.
You guys feel eyes watching you, looking over, leaning moodily against the stone outcropping. You see Graxus watching you, and he just nods once, and then turns his gaze up towards the sky.
I'll look up, follow his gaze. Is he just
yeah, I
looking
mean,
up?
he's just staring at the stars. Yeah.
I mean, that's where Mitros is, so I will also stare at the stars, but I'll be very gently cradling the egg as I do.
The egg is quite warm, like you've taken a turkey out of the oven with your bare hands.
Oh, I'll have it wrapped in my cloak. As
so I appreciate how
cradle
stoic you guys have been through this entire exchange, because it was probably very painful. So, yeah.
I will, transfer it to the cloak, and I'll hold it to the cloak.
Like the Foley sound effects guy just put on like the sound of bacon, like in a pan, as Rosette's like holding it, and like just totally stoic face, like hands it to you, and then you hear like an egg crack and hit the skillet as you take the egg, and you keep a stoic look on your face. Yeah.
Yeah, as soon as she pushes it into his arms, she turns away so he can't see, and she's like blowing on her hands.
Yeah. Yeah, and once you turn around, that's when I'm like sliding it into my cloak. Like,
it's a very hot potato. This kid is a very hot potato. Yeah.
This is very different for me as far as yeah.
Let's head back. They're probably done singing by now.
We can only hope. I will follow you in a minute. And I'm just going to... I think Astreus is a type where he'd thoughts in prayer right now.
Oh, fair.
Yeah, he'd take a moment to meditate and offer a prayer to Mitros for the safety, succor, and protection of the soul of the little being inside this egg.
Astreus, as you hold the egg and you pray, there is a slithering doubt that makes its way into your thoughts and into your heart. You look down at the egg and wince as your mind, filled with wisdom, plays out some very unpleasant possibilities.
He's gonna exhale very slowly and like nod to the heavens as if to say, I understand. I'll kind of look to Graxus and my old friend Xander and what's happened to him and what he's become, and I'll look back down at the egg, and my demeanor will shift, like my shoulders almost slump a little bit, and now I'm holding the egg protectively, but like almost half in, not sorrow, but there's a melancholy. And then I look towards the celebration and the chosen and everyone dancing and singing. And I straighten up my posture, I plaster a smile on my face, and I walk back in.
All right. That kind of puts us at time. Does anybody have anything they wanted to add before we kind of close it out?
Seems like a good spot.
Okay. All right. They will prepare some tributes to send you guys on your way with in exchange for the great service you have done of unifying the island. Steros has packed up his workshop and will be joining you guys. So I will add him to the B team on your crew for next week. There is also a milestone that has been reached. So you guys are now level 7. That sounds about right. Pretty sure you were level 6. I don't know. Yeah, I should know these things. You have been level 6 for about 400 years, give or take. So yeah. We normally do some downtime for that. So we're looking at about a week of downtime. You could spend the week here on Fire Island, or if you feel like there's a more thematic place, you could wait to level up, go to that place, then take the downtime. But you seem welcome here, and the island is relatively safe, and this would be a good time to reinforce your new doctrine of Baby Shark and bolster your relations with the natives. It would also give Kyra time to siphon more strength off of Halcyon. Also give Steros time to work on some cool stuff for the people who liberated him from slavery. He is able to build you steampunk versions of the Golden Lion, the Ivory Goat of Travel, the Serpentine Owl, the Silver Raven, or the Onyx Dog. So place your orders, and he will magically, using the power of NPC-ness, cobble them together for you during the long rest. More than likely, he probably just had them on hand and pretended that he made new ones, but you know what I'm talking about. So,
what are the options?
I'll post them in here real quick. Hypatia apparently knows. I didn't mean to have your character selected, but she's pretty smart. There is a function of these. They only work 6 times before they break, or if they reduce to 0 hit points. Because artificers are outlawed, he is the only person that could probably fix them for you. If for whatever weird reason you did have proficiency in tinker tools, you could attempt to fix them yourselves, but as long as he's around, he is totally willing to do the required upkeep on them. So yeah, each of you could pick out one, and he will make it for you. And I read that, and I was like, yeah, we don't have enough fucking Pokemon. Cool. Cool. Let's do it.
No,
let's do it.
Bleed. Stop bleeding. You just updated your health and made you explode.
It's some violent dancing over there. Some violent dancing.
I didn't update it yet. I don't know.
The lizard folk are into it. They're into it. All right, cool. In that case, I will take you back to the wider world. And if you guys need anything for leveling up between now and next week, let me know. I do have bad news. If anybody was using Ethic's downtime tracker, the latest update, I believe it is broken. They created a mod dependency for a mod that I don't use that has conflicts with other mods, so I had to drop them. What that means is we still have the other downtime tracker, Crash's downtime tracker, but yeah, we don't have access to Ethix anymore because it essentially had compatibility issues.
I don't know which one I was using.
Okay, do you still have any downtime stuff on your sheet?
I still see my 20 squares, 49 out of 70.
Okay. then you're probably using Crashes. I think Crashes is better, anyways.
Okay.
I don't know why. I'm not biased or anything, but I mean, people named Crash generally they're pretty great, so we'll just go with that. Yeah. Did anybody? I know we didn't have any combat per se. Did anybody encounter any issues with any Foundry stuff?
Not so
today.
far.
No. Okay.
Just blood on Astraeus' face for some reason when we started.
Oh yeah, Blood and Guts is very playful and aggressive, like a puppy with rabies. I don't know. If you guys end up not liking it, we could totally get rid of it. But it can be a little much. I don't know. It's been pretty enjoyable. But if you guys end up not liking it, I can always turn the mod off. So, but yeah, there are weird side effects like that. Sometimes the only way to fix it is to make sure your mini's at full health, and then delete that mini, and then drag out a new mini because your old mini just won't stop bleeding. I don't know. It's weird like that. Let's see. Anything else? Oh yeah. The end of the month, I'm taking a week off. I already posted on the Discord. So like, just giving you guys a verbal heads up that I'll be taking the last week of the month off, so we won't have a game that week. And yeah, I guess that's about it. Anybody have any announcements that they need to make, or games that they're planning to run, or projects they're working on, or non-D&D games that they're setting up on the server? People have been doing that, playing some Vigima games on the server. So, no, anybody? All right.
I've been having fun with the Sea of Thieves. It's been awesome.
Yeah, Sea of Thieves has been super fun. It's been super fun. So, there's apparently this Viking like simulator.
Valheim,
Yeah,
it's really good. I played it like
I've been hearing some good stuff.
Put about 100 hours into it.
Oh wow! Into the early, you put 100 hours into the early access. Holy shit! Okay.
Well, like it's like
Wow.
building a base takes so long, and like
Yeah, I lack the patience. I played 20 minutes and I was like, yeah, that's enough.
there's so much you could do in it. It's
my
really good
concern is that I have such limited time for video games. I don't want to like play the early access and then find out later when the game's complete that I'd have to do everything over again.
No.
The
way they're releasing it is like all of their planned content is already being generated into the world. So like
they're evolving the gameplay rather than
you're not gonna have to like remake or restart or anything.
Maybe.
It's pretty cool. No, there's like good boating adventures and stuff. I mean, you guys would probably enjoy it on the server. It's pretty fun.
Cool. All right. Yeah, so if you guys need any help with leveling, any questions about leveling, how leveling works with Foundry, because we haven't done it in a while, right? I think that might have been the first thing we did when we started on Foundry was level. Also, I am looking at alternate character sheets. I have heard the feedback. Nobody likes the character sheets. Trust me, the monster character sheets are even worse than the player character sheets. So I am eyeballing this one called Tidy Sheets. It's not a toilet paper. It is actually apparently a character sheet mod, but it's very well reviewed. I just haven't tried it yet because I don't want to like break your character sheets. So I keep meaning to test it on my test world, but I haven't had a chance with everything else that's going on. So maybe next week, more than likely before next month. So I'm going to try to get us onto better character sheet before April. But if you need any help leveling up, or need help making macros or fancy stuff for your character sheet, let me know, and I will try to get that set up for you. All right. Have a good evening, everybody. Hope you guys have a good week. And yeah, it was good game. Good game tonight.
Good night.
All right.
Yeah, good night, everybody.
Night.
Good night, guys.
Night.